I'm playing with a couple monikers when I'm in game show mode. I'm thinking either Stink Martindale.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love that reference.
Yeah, they definitely get that reference.
How about Alex Black? Or finally, Splat Sajak. Throwing the jack.
All very timely.
Those are good.
All very timely.
I don't know, man. This is like
How
Mad
many of those are
Magazine
dead?
circa 1992.
Welcome back to the Breakroom, everybody. It's a fun episode today. It's been a few weeks.
Whether you like it or not.
That's right. It's been a few weeks since Madam Web came out, and fans have been clamoring for more web-related content because, after all, her web connects us all. But we're going to. You don't need to have seen Madam Web today. We're actually not going to talk about any of the plot details or implications on the larger Spumsy. Instead, we are playing a little game based off of the Madam Web Rotten Tomatoes scores, kind of comparing them to other films and doing all kinds of fun, silly trivia type of stuff with it. With me today to play this game, I've got Gina Ippolito and Brandon Barrick. And also, Alex Berg is here.
Oh, you have the full
I forgot
name.
Berg's name in the script.
Full name is weird.
Sorry.
I forgot Berg's
full
name.
name is weird.
Oh, get that off the dome.
Like I don't remember his first name. Shout out to one of our regular viewers, Ryan Painter, for suggesting a version of this idea. And real quick, I think to keep it interesting, our three panelists here, I'm going to be doing the game show hosting today. I know the answers. They don't. How about you guys are playing for some of our frequent viewers? Okay. How about in honor of Ryan Painter suggesting this, Brandon, you're playing for Ryan Painter.
You got it.
All right.
How about Gina? Why don't you play for Sarah Hatchadorian?
I won't let you down, Sarah.
And Berg, how about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Kobe, I'm gonna let you down. I want to let you know right now. Set the bar low, and hopefully I clear it, but probably not.
There we go. Just to keep it interesting, because otherwise we have no prizes other than the jelly beans that you also can eat. If you
Shout out to the early crew for always being in the chat before the show starts. These are three members of the early crew, so.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Early crew.
So in general, I guess real quick, do you frequent Rotten Tomatoes? Is that a reference you use in making your viewing decisions?
Oh.
Never.
Also never.
Also never, but I will go, after I have an opinion on the movie, I will go to Rotten Tomatoes and then like explore.
Very on brand. Very on brand.
Yeah, because I don't want it to influence me,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
am
yeah.
curious for like the tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is tough because it's very binary and it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
Fresh or not
there's no
fresh.
nuance.
So-
And I feel like they snuck in there. They were like an early platform that kind of snuck in. It was like when all the restaurants were using Yelp.
Yeah.
Long after
Yes.
everyone else was using Yelp. It was like,
Yeah.
we don't like Yelp. It's wrong. And they're like, oh, but Yelp loves us.
And so-
we don't like Yelp.
Popular on Yelp.
Sorry, Yelp workers.
I know, damn.
All right,
Going
really
hard
coming
on
after Yelp.
0 stars. But a reminder of how Rotten Tomatoes works. So they have 2 scores for a film and TV, a critic score, and that's they basically take all of the published reviews for a property and they make it binary. It's either positive or negative. They compile that into a percentage. So if it's 50% fresh or something like that, that means half of the critics were positive on a property, half were negative. Now that leaves out a lot of nuance because like, how also do you decide if something was mildly positive versus
positive or
mildly
negative.
negative?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's some where it's like, this is a squish review, you know?
Yeah.
So we've based our whole game on this system.
Okay, well, just you wait.
Rockstar.
Just you wait. So they have that score, the
What's
critic
gonna
score.
save democracy.
They also have an audience score. And there's actually a little bit more nuance there because I think this is user submitted, kind of like your Yelp or whatever. And I think people are allowed to rate on a 10-point scale. Does that sound right, Evan?
I thought, it's not a percentage. I see.
They do. It turns into a percentage.
Yeah.
But I think it's not just fresh or not from the user.
That tomato looks very fresh to
There's
me.
a tomato.
actually.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, it's out of.
this is like some
5
great level shit.
Okay, out of 5 stars, right? And so then they compile user submitted. So today we're going to be talking about both these scores because often with Rotten Tomatoes, those scores vary. Particularly, there are certain genres of film where critics tend to like things more than audiences, and the opposite is also true. Particularly, a lot of superhero films have lower critic scores than audience scores.
Yeah.
There's a dog
Yeah.
dying under our table.
Not really. Not really.
He's coughing up a spleen.
You've heard of Saves the Cat? This episode now called Save the
Save the
Dog.
Dog.
Okay. But real quick, we have a graphic for the 2 Rotten Tomatoes scores for Madam Web. There they are.
All right.
It got a 12% from critics.
Okay.
And then a surprisingly robust 57% from
Seems
audience.
generous.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of more web heads than I would have
Now,
thought.
I would also think there's some selection bias there in that if you were going to buy a ticket to go see Madam Web, you're maybe the type of person that is more inclined to enjoy.
Oh, disagree. I bet a lot of people hate watched it.
I saw the fine print. It said like 1,000 plus verified ratings.
Oh.
I don't know the verification process.
You think Sony's
for-
handing out money so
No,
that
I
they
think
can
it's
go?
like these are real accounts. They're verified accounts. Do they know these people saw the movie?
I will also say there is an interesting wrinkle in that. So, for instance, my girlfriend who loves camp, kitsch, and trash cinema
Yeah.
has seen it twice in theaters.
Yeah.
She loves it,
Yeah.
but she thinks it sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Would she write a positive review on Rotten Tomatoes? No, only because of the pain in the ass of logging in.
But she might give it 3 stars.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have heard
She had a
people
great
say.
time.
I
Yeah.
have heard people say, like, if you go into it expecting a Showgirls level
Yes.
experience,
Yes.
you will be satisfied with
Yes.
I
what
was
you
more
expect.
interested in Madam Web than Morbius,
Okay, we're going to talk about that. Put a pin in Morbius.
but not for the right reasons.
And for a frame of reference, right, like those numbers, 12% and 57%. Dune 2 currently at 94% critic, 95% audience.
Let's get that
Okay.
bump.
Oppenheimer, 93% critic, 91% audience.
Okay.
Even recent superhero fare like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 82% critic, 94% audience.
Because like the audience score, there's brigading that happens sometimes.
Sure,
certainly.
sure.
I think
But isn't
especially in
there-
genre.
Isn't there an infamous critic out there who gives everything
Armand White?
Armand
Yes.
White. He gives
You
everything
hated
right
Billy
away.
Boyd.
Right
Negative.
away.
Yeah.
You knew right
He's
away.
always pulling down.
He's a big
the
troll.
scores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's the Jay Sherman of the modern era.
Hey, it stinks.
But,
It
and,
stinks.
and, you know, a couple other references just for to help you play the game. Wakanda Forever, 83% critic score, 94% audience.
Okay.
Avengers Endgame, 94% critic score, 90% audience.
I was gonna say, is there ever one where critics is higher?
Yes, and we might cover a couple of those. Wink,
I
wink.
see. Okay.
Well, actually, a good one would be Barbie, 88% critic score, 83% audience score.
That's dudes.
Which feels low.
yeah, it's dudes.
Yeah, 83%
very
audience feels low
threatened
for
dudes.
Barbie.
Brigading.
But
Brigading.
My girlfriend made me see this.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
there's a little
yeah.
bit of that.
I don't understand why it had to be so pink.
So
Where do the kids live?
our contestants all have their little marker boards here. They'll be simultaneously submitting their answers to these questions. Let's go ahead and jump in on one, okay?
Okay.
An easy one here. There is a 45% range between the critics and audience score, okay?
wow. Okay.
Recent,
Yeah. So for Madam Web, 45%.
the gap,
Oh. Audience.
the gap between the two numbers is 45%, between 12% and 57, right? So, recent Spumsy entry, Morbius. Do you think the gap between its two ratings was higher or lower than 45%?
I feel like this movie could have been brigaded by the audience at some point to really boost it up as like a joke. But I don't know. held up over time.
Here's what I think. Madam Web was so famously panned. Also the fact that its star clearly hated it and hated being in it, I think gave it a lot more publicity than maybe it normally would have
Sure.
gotten. I think if she had just done a lackluster press tour, everyone would have been like, fine. But because she clearly hated every second of it, people were like, I gotta see this. I don't remember hearing that much about
I
Morbius.
suspect that with Morbius, there's the Jared Leto element. And that everybody rightly hates Jared Leto.
Whoa.
We all hate it. We all hate him. We all think he was the worst part of Blade Runner 2049. This is an objective fact. And so I think that will lower Morbius's audience score to be more in line with the critic score.
Okay,
I
well, let's
agree.
see.
I
Also,
agree.
early shots at Tron Ares already being fired.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's reveal. Was the gap between the critics and audience score for Morbius greater or less than it was for Madam Web?
It's at a higher range.
Brandon went higher. Gina went lower. Berg also went lower. Brandon is correct.
Oh, rigged!
Believe it or
Sisters
not,
rigged!
look at those numbers. A 71% audience
I
score
had
for
a sneaky
Morbius.
suspicion this was like an audience brigading. We're having fun.
I know.
We're gonna boost this number
Yeah,
up.
and even the critics were a little bit higher. Again, it was 12% for Madam Web, but a
5,000
shocking
plus verified ratings.
14% higher audience score for
Incredible.
Morbius than
Wow.
for
So
Madam Web.
Madam Web
Okay.
said 1,000 plus verified ratings. I had 5,000 plus. That's already.
I think
brigading.
the meme was a little bit more alive maybe there.
Do we think that maybe Morbius is also a product of came out like a mid-pandemic almost, right? Like,
people
was
didn't
that
have
holy God, I'm not trapped in my house anymore?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe.
You know,
I'm
like-
thrilled to see a movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, recent Netflix Last Avatar, or Avatar: The Last Airbender release reminds us of the film adaptation of that franchise made by one M. Night Shyamalan. Was the critics and audience score, these are gonna be two answers. Was the critic score for Shyamalan's Last Airbender higher or lower than Madam Web? And was the audience score higher or lower than
What
Madam
was
Web?
Madam Web again?
Oh, so these are both
Again,
for,
it
the,
is
for the audience.
12 and 57 for Madam Web.
Okay.
Do you think Shyamalan's Last Airbender beat or came under either or both of those
And
numbers?
you can give each score.
Two,
Separate
these will be
answer.
two questions, two answers here. I've never seen it. Has anybody seen
Okay.
Shyamalan's Last Airbender? I
No,
haven't seen it.
but I will say this. I think that in the case of Last Airbender, which is an adaptation of a beloved property, you have a strong chance for the audience to not get on board with how bad it is because they're furious at how good it should have been.
Yes, I agree. I think Berg and I have a similar way of thinking. I think that critics will look at it as a movie as opposed to does this satisfy all the nostalgia that I want it to satisfy? So they might give it a
Whereas
more
there's,
accurate
there's
score.
less of a hardened fan base for Madam Web. That are gonna be
Exactly.
extremely-
I think the Airbender heads wanted it to be something, and also I think audiences in general hold M. Night to an impossibly high standard.
And look at his Rotten Tomatoes page. It's a minefield.
Listen, I will go on the
Look at it, look
record
at his,
that
his
dude is
oeuvre.
that dude is underrated. I think I enjoy all of his movies more than the general public does. I think
Interesting.
I think he knows what he's doing.
I think Sixth Sense is great. Unbreakable, I found overrated.
Okay.
Well, are we going film by film through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
But-
Lady in the Water?
You're still in the early, you're still in the mid-90s.
The Village?
Though recently he's perked up. I think Knock at the Cabin and
Yeah, The
Split
Beach.
and Old are
Old.
all pretty highly rated. Okay, answers are in. Did the film Last Airbender come in under or above Madam Web on either audience or critic score? Brandon said
Critics.
both were below.
No, critics were higher, audience was lower.
Okay, Gina actually said the same thing.
I did.
And I said the same thing.
Oh, it's going to be a sweep
Well,
of right or
all
wrong.
three of you are half right. Both were dramatically lower.
Oh my god!
5% from the critics and 30% from the audience.
5 is rough.
Okay.
I forgot, while we're about to do a point check-in here, as soon as these are tabulated, producer John has our running scores. And just while we wait, I did come up with, I am angling to be the world's worst
Hey, John,
game show host.
this is for you if my score goes up. We're
A single dollar.
$1.
each time the
$1
score goes
that I stole from my daughter. So it's. I'll leave it here.
that makes it worth more, John.
Yeah, you can do
Wow.
what you like with it.
A child's dollar.
Just want to throw out to the chat, maybe if you guys can voice, I'm playing with a couple monikers when I'm in game show mode. I'm thinking either Stink Martindale.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love that reference.
Yeah, they definitely
Fuck.
get that
How
reference.
about Alex Black? Or finally, Splat Sajak. Throw in the chat.
all very timely.
Those are
All
good.
very timely.
I don't know, man. This is like
How
Mad
many of those are
Magazine
dead?
circa 1992.
No Sleeve Harvey.
I don't know. I think Splat Sajak is a clear
Splat
winner.
Yeah. I mean, I like that Alex Trebek takes so long to say.
We really got to over enunciate it.
Refuses to roll off the tongue.
John, do we have a score check in? Okay, all right.
It's rigged.
Very close.
Yeah, they had to make that hours ago.
Let's move on to
About Ken
question 3.
Blennings.
So for Madam Web, the difference between the critics and the audience score as of March 6th is 45%. That's the gap between those two numbers. Out of the following movies, who also has a 45% difference as of today? These numbers change over time, but the 1998 animated Ants movie,
Okay.
2001's Spy Kids, Jordan Peele's Us, or Captain Marvel. One of those has a 45% gap. All the others do not.
While you're thinking about this, Splat Sajak takes the poll vote with 69% of the chat.
69?
69.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Splat.
I'm debating in my head whether people are more racist or sexist because I think that those are the two that they would review bomb.
Well, I will say, we've never had a woman president. That's what I'll say to that.
Interesting. What an interesting fact to quote, Brandon. I'll also say, just if this helps, all of these have much higher critic scores than audience scores.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I mean that makes sense. I think.
Yeah,
some-
it's never reversed.
But they're
Unlike
relying on
Madam
the
Web.
audience to
That
go back
does-
to some of these movies and be like, hey, remember Ants? What'd you think of that?
Yeah.
That's how they're
does
getting,
change
the
my
audience
answer.
Yeah, I think I'm wrong, but I'm gonna stick with my answer. But I think I'm wrong.
Knowing that the critic score is higher definitely changes my answer.
Oh, I was
Something that
assuming.
the public received much worse than the critics.
I think there are certain movies that they review bomb, and we all know which ones those are.
Okay. Do we have our answers ready?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Reveal.
Ants, baby.
Ants, Us, and Captain Marvel. Okay, a nice spread.
I think Berg might be right.
I think those Bugs Life heads really got it right.
Let's see that reveal. It's Ants.
Oh my God!
Brandon, how
I
did
was
you?
wrong. I was so wrong.
And I remember
Yeah.
the Ants controversy really blowing up the movie magazines of the time. We were barely on the internet. We were still on DARPANet.
Is this real? Was there an ants controversy?
Well, yeah, because the studio was working on Ants for a while, and Disney snuck in there with A Bug's Life. And didn't they
So
sneak
was
in A
review-
Bug's Life
Review bomb by
before they
the
got done with the
Disney
Ants, or
heads.
was it
I
the
don't,
other way
I don't
around?
know, but I know they came out at the same time. So for reference, Us had a 33% gap.
Okay.
Captain Marvel had a 34% gap. And Spy Kids, actually, we probably would have given it to you if you guessed Spy Kids. 47.
Okay, so
What?
Spy
Kids.
Spy Kids
Kids.
was my original answer, but I thought that would be low critical, very high audience.
I
Same.
wonder what is. I've actually, I got to admit, I've never seen one of the entries in the Spy Kids franchise. Why would
neither.
that be so divisive with audiences?
That's a great question.
I think it's the scene where they kill their parents.
Sounds great.
Well, Robert Rodriguez directed that, right?
Yeah,
so is it kind of like artier or cooler than it was expected to be?
I would
Tell us, Evan. Give us this. Give us this.
I got really distracted by John crawling on the floor.
I'm so sorry you're down there. Here. Oh, oops. I dropped my daughter's dollar.
I've seen all the Spy Kids movies, the first three,
you're a spy head?
and I think that it's such an interesting world, and I think it doesn't necessarily. It's like very weird, very odd. and
Oh.
parts. At some point in the first movie, a lot of people are just becoming distorted, like thumb people, and I think it is a little scary for kids. I was definitely a little like, maybe my parent is gonna turn into a weird hand person.
Wait,
Like,
so that's why critics don't like it?
No,
'Cause-
critics loved it.
Oh,
Audiences
okay.
didn't like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
I always assumed those movies were like very highly nostalgically regarded by people slightly younger than me. So this is
Yeah.
surprising. to me.
93 critic score, 47 audience score.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
let's move on to recent MCU entry, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Okay.
Also has a pretty wide margin between scores in the opposite direction. Critics did not like it as much as audiences. Do you think the gap between the critic score and the audience score was wider or narrower than for Madam Web? Which again, Madam Web had a 45% gap between those two scores. Do you think it was bigger or smaller, the gap between the scores for Quantumania?
Everybody hated it.
Not everybody.
Not
No,
everybody.
I know. I'm trying to think.
I have a strong theory behind my answer, which I have written nearly illegibly on my whiteboard.
So you can claim that we read it improperly if you're not given the credit.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Ready
It's
to
your fault.
ready to reveal here?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Okay, Brandon saying the gap was wider.
Wide, okay.
Gina concurring, and Berg saying narrower.
Okay.
Due to, I think the Paul Rudd effect is strong.
Yeah. I do think
He's
people
a
love
charismatic
love some Rudd.
man.
Yeah.
Let's do our little
Are you
reveal
saying-
there.
Are you saying
That is correct. You could do that. You could do that quick math. I think that's a 36% gap as opposed to a 45%
right.
gap. So
Wow.
Berg is the lone corrector.
You're welcome, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Again, for reference, 82% audience score, about the same as Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes is weird.
Yeah.
It is very strange.
Because it's also like, I don't know. I'm
I
trying
think
to
they're
explain
equivalent
this.
films in terms of cultural impact and artistic statement.
It's true.
Okay.
When the Blob character was like, it's so hard being a Blob character in this country.
Yeah.
Expected to be a Blob,
Yeah,
but also
you still have to say blah.
Yeah, you have to say Blob and be a perfect Blob, but not an imperfect
I
Blob.
wanted more blob.
Where did the blob sleep? Okay. Madam Web, we'll move on to question 5 here.
Where do the Blobs sleep? Also, I can't get it.
Wherever they want.
That's right. Do they sleep? Also, a quick shout out. Oh, there's our score update.
No.
Oh, look at that.
Brandon in the lead with 3. Again, Brandon, who are you playing for?
Ryan Painter.
Ryan Painter, inspiration for this game. Gina playing for Sarah Hadjadorian with 1 point. And Berg
Didn't make
playing
her remember, huh?
for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Really put a whole
in the
Brandy
middle.
B on the
Yeah.
spot.
And Kobe, I want you to know I did offer $1 to John. So my
doing his
Brandon
best.
winning is like not really my fault. I tried.
Question 5 here. Madam Web was rumored at one point to have been connected to Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
That is the Peter Parker whose birthday shower birth shower where they're attending in the film. Birthday, I don't know. Baby shower.
Birth shower.
Birth shower.
Hey.
Let's get that one going.
And the water breaks. There's amniotic fluid everywhere.
That's the kind of mistake a Blob Barker would make. You know what I mean?
It's a real Alex.
Not a Splat Sajak. Okay.
Richard kinda gross.
What did Richard Kind host? How did Richard Kind get back to
From Spin City? Okay. Yeah.
What's going on?
That's a bad Richard
That's
Kind.
your Richard Kind.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not
Great.
bad. Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man. We're just talking about Amazing Spider-Man 1 right here, not its sequel. Its audience and critic scores are both considered fresh, so they're above 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think the difference is between those two scores?
Okay.
So we know they're both above 50%, so the gap between them is going to be relatively narrow. If you go ahead and guess an actual number. We'll give it to the closest, will win, and if you get the exact number, I'll give you double
Go over.
points.
Is it closest without
You can
going over?
go over. It'll just be closest.
Yeah, within 5 points. If you're within 5 points.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good, pretty good deal.
Pretty
Pretty
good.
You get it exactly.
And you get it on the nose, you get 2 points. Okay, ready to reveal? Let's see that. Let's see that little Rotten Tomatoes score. Okay.
No!
Well, Brandon's saying a 13% gap, and both Berg and Gina going with a 22%
Cheating off
gap.
of each other will get you.
Wow.
Man.
Let's see the answer. That's a 6%
Way
gap.
off.
Whoa.
Thus, the highest number we would have accepted was 11%. Nobody gets
anything.
Dang.
Dang, dude.
No. Can we pull up that graphic again? What were the numbers on Amazing Spider-Man 1?
71 and
Pretty
77.
good.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's nice.
I view Rotten Tomato scores as like it's divisive.
Yeah, well, I will
They
say
made a choice.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, 51% critic, 64% audience.
Okay.
Dropped off.
Pretty good.
Dropped off there from ASM 1. Okay. Well, real quick, we want to talk about our sponsor, Kalshi. I want to give a quick shout out to them, and actually we're going to talk more about them later. So Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the US where you can bet on any event, including who's going to win Oscars. Oscars coming up on Sunday.
This
Who's
Sunday?
gonna win those
Oh
The
my
stars
God.
are out. So for
Do you think
instance,
they know it's daylight saving? Are they gonna show up late?
Oh no.
that means they just party for 1 hour more. You know what I mean?
1 hour less. They lose
Okay,
an hour.
fair. So, like for instance, on Kalshi right now, Emma Stone, winning Best Actress, is trading at 50 cents. I think last time we checked. So if you were to put $1 down, you would get 2 of those at 50 cents. Oh, wait, I'm making it complicated. If you did 50 cents and she does win, you would get $1. If she doesn't win, you get nothing. But also, if in the interim, in the next couple of days, if it goes up to 60 cents, you can cash out, make 10 cents without anybody needing to win an Oscar. They have a lot of stuff. We were talking earlier, you can bet on the high temperature in Chicago.
Evan's making bank betting on
Yes.
low temps in Chicago.
Chicago, you better come in at 47 degrees today. Is the high temperature.
And that's Fahrenheit, right? It's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Okay.
That's
Not boiling the flesh out of Chicago
Everyone's like,
residents.
get out there with your aerosol can, spray 'em, baby.
And there's sports economics, all kinds of stuff on there. It's fun. Again, this is all very above the board. This is like a completely legal financial exchange. I mean, of course it is, but and it's fun. There's currently, if you head to the link that's listed on screen, you can get $20 for free. Just goof around, do a couple Oscars bets, low stakes, do some with your friends. I personally went in, I picked Godzilla -1 to not win the Oscar for Best Special Effects. A decision I'm now regretting. But you know what? I'm writing it till Sunday.
I don't think
I'm
the
writing it
special
till
effects in
Sunday.
Godzilla -1 were that good.
Ooh, okay, there we go. I feel a bit better now.
Yeah.
I've already, a non-Oscars pick I did was that a sequel to Dune 2 will be announced by the end of the month. And that has already gone up.
Okay.
I think I got in at 42 cents. It's now at 47 cents.
Oh, yeah. I like your odds. I like your chances.
You
Long
can even
live the
start,
fighters.
we were talking about this. You can already pick 2025 Oscars, including will Timmy Chalamet get a Best Actor nomination? Will Samuel L. Jackson get a Best Supporting Actor nomination for a movie I've never heard of that hasn't come out yet?
Okay.
Argyle?
No, this is for next. This is a movie coming
Argyle
out
came
this
out?
year.
Argyle too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. More Argyle. It's called Corduroy. But anyways,
okay.
you gonna cut that bad joke, Evan? Please leave it in.
Leave it in.
The polls are still open. Okay, so check out that and all the other things that you can participate in. Sign up at kalshi.com/breakroom. The first 500 traders will get a free $20 credit. Our next question is going to be on Kalshi for the Oscars. They have Across the Spider-Verse as the top contender for Best Animated Feature, with Boy and the Heron as a close second.
Ooh, okay.
Do you think Boy and the Heron's chances of winning the Best Animated Feature Oscar are currently listed higher or lower as a percentage than Madam Web's audience score?
So again, Madam Web's audience score is
57. Boy and the Heron's odds on Kalshi, are they higher or lower than 57%? This is one of Evan's picks. I believe you went in on this on Kalshi, right, Evan?
Yeah, I'm really pulling for Boy and the Heron. I think it's gonna win. Not that I like it more than Spider-Verse.
No.
But
do-
it
I
might
do
be
like Spider-Verse.
Miyazaki's last chance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that
right?
That's why.
I mean, he always says he's
He's
retiring.
already retired before the board.
Yeah.
He's retired 10 times.
Yeah, but this time
He's the Tom Brady of animated films.
Okay, let's see those picks. Do we think it's higher or lower? Lower and two
yeah.
hires. Okay.
Berg had the same.
Brandon's the only one picking lower. Do we have a reveal here on screen, Evan?
we don't. but-
Okay, but the number
Drum
is,
roll, please.
the number is 35. The number is 35. So Brandon is the winner there.
Sarah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Ryan
Or
Painter,
34 or
really.
35. I think the last I checked it was 35. Okay, and again, I mentioned right now you can get shares in 2025 Oscar nominees. Timmy Chalamet competing against actors in movies that haven't been released yet. Are Chalamet's odds of getting nominated? This is just nominated,
Yeah.
not to win, just to be nominated for best actor.
Best ass.
He is not winning that, and they would have to cancel the ceremony. The young man is talented but has no butt whatsoever. Are Chalamet's
Fighting
odds
words.
of being nominated on Kalshi higher or lower than the critics' score of Madam Web? Reminder, that was 12%. Are his odds of getting nominated for Best Actor higher or lower than 12%?
I should just do the opposite of all of my instincts, like George Costanza, and then I'll get one right.
Chicken salad. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go for that right now.
Get a tail with the
with
Yankees.
tea.
Okay, Brandon's saying the odds are higher. Higher than 15%. Gina's going higher. Berg's going higher. Everybody's going higher than 12%.
12% is so low.
12% is very low.
Let's see. Do we have a reveal or not? I should just say it's actually lower. He's currently at 9
Get
cents.
me stupid!
I mean, that's a good bet then.
That's a
We
good
should all
bet.
we should all go long on
go
Timmy
like
getting
that.
the best Oscar
They're really
nominee.
counting on the bike riders. Scooping up a bunch of those
yeah.
knobs
Speaking
next
of
year.
which-
Austin Butler.
Well, talk about that. Austin Butler currently 28 cents to get a Best Supporting Actor.
That I buy more
So,
than Timothy.
You know,
But it's
I mean,
3 times- you
Javier
think he-
Bardem's going to definitely get
You
one.
think his odds are 3 times as good to get Best Supporting Actor nomination than
Yeah.
Timmy to get a Best Actor
Yeah.
nomination?
I mean, that actor
Yeah, I
is
do.
usually very competitive.
It is very
Not that supporting isn't, but I think it's.
But also, Austin Butler in Dune is so much of a weirder big choice than Timothy in Dune.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you're right. The Academy loves
plus
weird.
better ass.
Oh,
that's-
all
Might
right.
as well call him
Facts.
Aston Butler.
I have to check both of these butts out.
Tune in tomorrow for a spin-off show, Ass Facts. Okay.
You a Bene Gesserit. You
and then-
Bene Gesserit.
Oh, Mama, Ben and Gesserit.
Mama. Oh, come on.
My
Bene
God,
Gesserit.
come on over and.
Whole lot of spice going on.
Hey, y'all don't put my hand in no box, mama. You better get that gumdrop off my neck, mama.
Oh, so good. Okay, and then our final Kalshi question, non-Oscar related, but a current one on Kalshi. What are the odds of Nintendo announcing a new console this year? Is it this year, in
Percentage?
2024?
We're doing a percentage of this?
Yes. Out of 100, right? It's technically cents, but yeah. So yeah, closest. We'll say the closest.
Yeah.
Or if all 3 of you get within 10, you can all 3 get a point.
10%. Yeah.
Okay. The odds that Nintendo announces a new console this year.
Just checks.
Okay, and let's reveal.
I said 65 cents.
65, 36, 85. Wow, what a nice range we have there. The answer currently on Kalshi, 70. So Brandon.
So bad at this.
Brandon's running away with
I think
it.
Brandon cheated.
Nintendo's gonna definitely announce a new system
Yeah, for sure.
this year.
There's already stuff leaking about
Yeah,
it.
they're
And stuff.
leaking all
Yeah,
over the place.
They're leaking
Hey-ho.
everything.
Okay.
Will it be 4K? I don't know.
Ooh.
No.
I don't know.
Real quick before we move on, we got a couple more questions, then a lightning round.
Oh, man.
But we want to shout out our other sponsor, Factor Meals. Factor is a delivery meal service that we love because Factor's fresh, never frozen meals make eating better, easier than ever. Factor meals are ready to heat and eat. I always mess that up. So there's no shopping, chopping, cooking, cleaning, slapping, poking, prodding, chewing. There is chewing.
I slurp it.
I don't know how you
I
guys
blend it up. Pour it down the
blend it up.
gullet.
Big
And I
boba
slurp it.
straw.
Yeah.
In case you get a bone or something.
Yeah, it's great. All their meals, they're not frozen. Pop them in the microwave 2 minutes and you're eating good. I said this on Monday, but literally both my mother and my sister are Factor subscribers. We've got a quote. I texted them both what they thought about it.
They hadn't heard from him in years.
Who is
It's
this?
actually, and shout out, today is both of their birthdays.
Wow.
The same birthday as Maud. Shout out Maud Garrett. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, man.
It's also Brandon's anniversary.
Happy
know.
Everyone
Brandon.
only
March
needs to remember
6th.
one date.
Yeah, what a day March 6th is. But I think this was, my sister said, I love them. I was surprised at how flavorful and fresh they were. Somebody asked me the other day my favorite meal and what it was, and I couldn't decide. They were all so good, 10 out of 10. Actually, that was my sister. My mom said, one of my favorites is the chicken taco bowl. Also the garlic chicken. Honestly, I haven't had any that I didn't like. Those are literal quotes on my literal phone from my literal mother and sister whose birthday it is today. There's over 35 different options to choose from, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. And there's a lot of add-ons you can get for breakfast, midday bites, little immunity boost drinks that are delicious. Head to factormeals.com/breakroom50 and use code breakroom50 to get 50% off. That's code breakroom50 at factormeals.com/breakroom50 to get 50% off. The codes there on screen.
I
Thank you to
think that
Factor.
this might be where we discover that Zach is a Moon Knight type and has no mother and no sister and has been texting with no one. That's why they really have the same birthday.
I do have 3 phones though, so I can text myself. And
What about Chuck Foolery?
That's a good Up Chuck Foolery.
I'll be back in 2 and 2.
This is good. This is good.
The kids are loving that reference.
I'm barely getting most of these.
Evan's pretending to laugh. He has no
We're all
idea.
too old.
He has no idea.
Okay.
Egregious Philbin.
We just Phil Berg.
He's not. Oh, I guess he was a game show.
Let's be a millionaire.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Double Dare. Mark Summers.
Oh yeah.
Lark.
Howie Mandel.
There it is. That's the real one right there. I'm very Howie Mandel.
Yeah, take that,
Okay.
Howie.
Let's hit these rapid fire questions,
Okay.
guys. All right. So, real quick, did audiences like each of these movies more or less than Madam Web? In fact, we can just do verbal here. Just let's do thumbs up, thumbs down. Did audiences like these movies more or less? Because it's the rapid fire.
Audience.
2003, Ang Lee's Hulk.
More than.
More than
was the audience?
57%.
Okay.
Oh, that's a,
Audience
that's a
score.
lot. Okay.
More or less. So they all liked Ang Lee's Hulk more? Do we have the answers here, or should I just say them? Do we just hold?
Hold.
They liked it less, 29%.
Damn
You're all
it.
wrong. Okay, 2005, Peter Jackson, King Kong, more or less?
More. That was great.
No, it was.
Yes, it was.
Berg's right, it wasn't. 50%. He's the only one who got that one right. Recent Netflix film, The Gray Man, with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans.
I'm playing the odds.
Audiences like it more or less.
Audience score. Audience
I'm
score.
playing the odds.
Okay, Gina is correct.
Yes.
90% audience score
That had
for
a
The Gray
90%
Man.
audience.
That was. I liked that.
What?
I liked
Did you watch that movie?
I watched
did.
it.
I
liked
honestly
it.
just heard of it for the first time.
Green screen the movie?
How about another Netflix movie? This one older, the Will Smith starring Bright, where there's like trolls or cops or whatever.
Yeah.
Trolls or cops.
Trolls or cops?
Great idea.
Okay, and that you're all wrong. 83% audience score.
83?
Really, the low-key goal of this show was to completely discredit the Rotten Tomatoes audience score. Clearly,
Discredit themselves.
people have no taste. And then final one here, David Fincher directed Alien 3.
Oh crap.
That's a
This is
tough one.
audience score.
Audience score for Alien 3, higher or lower than 57%.
This is tough. I don't feel confident.
I don't feel
about
confident in this, but
I
it is tough.
Berg and Gina both saying they liked it more. Brandon saying they liked it less. Brandon is correct. 47% audience score.
That's insane that the
I don't know, have
audience
you
likes
seen Alien?
Madam.
Have you
Have
seen
you
Alien?
seen Madam Web?
But it's not the same audience voting
Yeah,
in each
it's.
one.
I will say, Alien 3 coming off of Aliens. That's a bucket of cold water.
Yeah,
Charles S.
Yeah,
Dutton.
but if you watch Alien 3,
A dog alien? I won't have it.
Yeah, well, and again, I think the audience has proved themselves that they can
Well,
be
and
These are also like people seeking out Alien 3 on Rotten Tomatoes and being
Years
like,
after it
"Finally,
was released."
My
Yeah.
time has come.
fair. Okay, how about another, controversial film, possibly? Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, the live-action Jake Gyllenhaal film.
Okay.
Our most Persian actor.
So it has 2 scores, an audience and a critics.
Okay.
Tell me how many of those were higher than Madam Web. So your answers could be 0, 1, or 2.
Yeah. Okay.
0 if you think both are lower than Madam Web, 1 if you think one of those numbers was higher than the equivalent on Madam Web, or 2 if you think it rated across the board higher than Madam
Are
Web.
we writing down, or is this just still hand signals?
Oh, I like. Get creative. Audience, throw your guesses in the chat.
It's hard.
Where would you put Prince of Persia: Sands of Time in relation to Madam Web?
Sands of time.
Okay.
Was those Gyllenhaal and Gemma Arterton? Who directed it?
I don't remember.
I don't know. That's a
The
great question.
ants from Ants.
That's oh, Woody Allen was one of the ants. He could have directed Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Okay,
Pants.
let's reveal those answers. Okay, Brandon saying 1, Gina saying 2, Berg saying none.
Crap.
Gina's on the nose. Both numbers higher.
Yes, I
Now,
should points for that.
A little, 1 point higher on the audience score. Producer Evan really trying to shark you here, but
250,000, a 250,000 people were like, I gotta show love.
This is the way I could express myself.
those are all
Finally.
the sands in the sands of time. I think
every
voted for
last
this.
grade.
Should we do a quick point check-in?
Yeah,
before
point
we-
check-in, John.
No.
Are we,
I don't think we need to. I'm
We
winning.
don't
From,
need to.
Yeah.
John from PricewaterhouseCoopers is
Yeah.
running the numbers. He's going to bring you.
La La Land.
John, do you literally have to
Oh.
come in and manually
13.
input?
What is going on?
Wait, what? Oh, John.
No, that was a 20. You gave him too much. You're never
Is
getting
there
it back.
no
You're never
honor
getting
in
it
the
back.
break room?
You're never getting it back.
Well, I don't know. I'm just
Wow.
looking at what the score says.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah. But also, this is the most cash I've had on me in years.
Berg bought us all coffee earlier. He clearly sold a kidney this
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't need it. It was full of piss.
You were supposed to bring balance to the force, not destroy it completely.
Okay, swerving back here, we're in the home stretch of questions here. Despite the love everyone has for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, I think we look back on those nostalgically now. Spider-Man 3 is the lowest entry ever in the live-action Spider-Man series, or I guess including the animated Spider-Verse films as well. And its audience score might be a little closer to Madam Web's than you think. What do you think is the difference, the gap between Spider-Man 3 and Madam Web audience score? Guess a number, and if you get it right on the nose, 2 points. Otherwise, closest,
Wait.
that's 1 point.
Okay.
So it's the
okay.
difference in scores from each movie.
Between
Just
Madam
the
Web,
audience.
Just the audience, though.
just audience
Yeah.
scores, Madam Web and Spider-Man 3.
Do we have to give like a positive or negative, or are we doing
just a
absolute
difference,
value
just a
here?
Oh yeah, just absolute value. That's good question. Good question. Thank you.
Just the difference for old Pat Splatjack.
Splat Sajak.
I like
Thank you.
Pat
Splat,
Splatjack.
splat payback.
Okay. we ready?
Vanishite over here.
Vanishite. Evan is my Vanishite.
Dang, dude. Dang,
Actually, no, it should be John. John in this
Yeah,
case is
yeah,
Vanishite. Okay, and let's see those reveals. Okay, good guesses there. Gina hit it on the nose.
Coming back, baby!
6%.
Do I get a point?
So just quickly note,
give Gina
Spider-Man
2
3, 6% lower audience score
Yeah, I
than
get 2
Madam
points for
Web.
that bitch.
51% to 57% for Madam Web.
Interesting.
Since I got it exactly, I get 2 points.
That's right. Gina's on a comeback.
1% off, I don't get any points. That's fine.
Fuck your points.
Whoa.
The range was gonna be 1 to 11.
Okay, and now Madam Web made no attempt to connect to the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Should have, possibly. I'm sure Sony would have loved to. But only one of the Tom Holland Spider-Man films has a lower audience rating than critics' rating. Can you guess which one? So again, all of them have higher audience scores than critics' scores, except for one that critics liked more than the audience.
I thought you were saying that one Tom Holland film has a lower audience score.
there's-
And I was going cherry.
There's a couple of those. Also, throw in a number of what you think the actual gap number is between the two scores, and that can get you a bonus point.
The gap between the score of this movie.
The critic and the audience gap. Yeah. I know, we're getting very semantic with our numbers. here.
Very. And for the next portion, name 6 below the line actors in this.
It's all,
Yeah. We're talking action.
it's all
We're talking
making so
central
much
casting.
sense in my
yeah.
head.
Chef number 2. Okay, here we go. Let's see our reveals here. Which one do you think it is? Far From Home. Homecoming. Far From Home. Okay, interesting. Brandon saying a 12% gap. What are you saying? A 25% gap for
gap.
Far From Home. Gina going 15%. Well, Gina's the only one that got the movie right. It was Homecoming. It was a narrower gap, just a 5% difference for Homecoming. I don't know if we have that
Interesting.
graphic. It was a critics gave it a 92, and audience only an 87. Both of those are still very
It's still
respectable.
very good.
numbers,
Okay,
though.
yeah.
All the others the audience have gobbled up. Maybe we're just a little slow on the uptake to the Tom Holland
Interesting.
Spider-Man movies.
Homecoming was so good.
That was actually my reasoning, because I think the critics judged it for what it was, whereas the audience judged it with a new Spider-Man. They didn't
Yes.
know.
Another
And it took them-
reboot.
It
Yeah.
took them a while to warm
Oh,
up,
man.
and once they did, then they were like, "Yeah, I love this little Tom
feel
Holland." But they had to get over that hump.
Yeah. I feel like I remember maybe some like Zendaya dislike early on in that. They
Yeah.
didn't like her as MJ.
I think
or
by
something.
number 2 they were on board, but
Yes.
that first one I think they
Interesting.
And also, they
first
leaned
one is
so
so
hard on
good.
the marketing for Tom and Zendaya, and then she
They're
was
like-
barely in
yeah,
the
yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at the very end, she's like, "My friends call me MJ," and you're like, "Eh."
You should use your real name.
All
Robin.
good points. All good points. Okay. Anya Corazon, the character in Madam Web, played by Isabella Merced, who's, again, going to have a great 2024, 2025, besides Madam Web, of course. Superman Legacy, among other things. But she also played Dora the Explorer in the live-action City of Gold, Dora and the City of Gold, which was pretty well received by audiences and critics alike. What do you think was the audience score for Dora and the City of Gold?
So positive audience score. If you're within 5%, either way, we'll give it to you. If you're on the money, get 2 points.
Again, this is a silly kind of trivia. There's no way anybody would know this exact number. We're just having fun, guys.
I'm not having fun. I'm
I'm
so
seeing in the
stressed
chat. It
out.
was the live action Dora.
I am deeply upset.
What about
I've lost $61.
The most expensive trivia game ever for Berg.
what about Jeff Gross? Trying to do a Survivor.
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Oh, can we add reality shows to this now? Because that's not the same as a game show.
It
That's a
depends on
good
the
point.
reality show.
Game.
How about Jonathan Van Ness? Topical?
Topical.
Okay, here we go.
Topical.
Let's reveal those scores. Okay, Brandon with 69.
Nice.
Oh, Gina with 52, and Berg coming in with 82. Berg is the closest. It was a 88% audience score.
Wow.
Maybe we all need to go back and rewatch Dora and the City of Gold, Lost
Live
City of
watch
Gold.
along next week.
I mean, shit, I didn't see it, but I'm in.
Certified fresh.
Can we get a score check-in?
Yes, John, do you have a score check-in ready to
A
roll?
real one this time, you son of a
Scores
bitch.
They've been really.
I mean,
Okay, let's see what else I have in my wallet.
there is no truth.
What's more corrupt, Russian figure skating or this game right now?
Berg's gonna start handing bus tokens
Yeah,
and a
I'm
AAA
really-
card over. Oh, okay. I think these
take
are the
it.
legit numbers here.
No.
What the
No,
hell?
Brandon's scoreboard
No.
says something different.
I got 6 for Gina.
God, John.
No, you have 7 for me. That's 7.
I got 07. Yeah, you're right. I'll take 8.
It's 7 to 6.
Wait,
has 8.
what? But that's not what the scoreboard.
That's not what
Oh,
this
okay.
says.
So,
Graphic is wrong.
okay. So Gina.
John,
Okay.
So are you.
Again, one would ask, why have a graphic if it's not going to be accurate?
You're asking for graphics at weird
We
times.
didn't ask for a graphic.
Can we get that graphic?
Yeah.
Is that graphic ready?
I thought it was up to date.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
All this is getting cut.
very high value business card from a Kaiser psychiatrist here.
Oh.
$1 million.
I think based on that recent outburst, I think he could use a
Yeah.
Kaiser psychiatrist.
So, some things are worth more than money, you know. And we're not doing a
Wait,
better health
it
promo
says
right now.
1 million?
What
$1
about
million on it. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Tyra? No
Whatever
thanks.
John wants it to mean. Ooh, Tyra, no thanks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tyra,
that's a
no
good one.
thanks.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Rue Crawl?
I don't feel
Pooh
perfect.
Paul? I don't know.
Paula Abdrul.
Simon Scowell? All right, guys. Don't worry. They're going to start getting better.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes
We're
left.
getting to the good game show host ones now.
Okay. Final question here. I think this is the final one we have. Let's go.
Oh, we have, and then there's the 3 extra non-movie ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Final one and then some real silly ones. I know these have been very serious, but we'll get into some silly ones.
I'm ready for some levity, quite frankly.
Final film one. Madam Web starred Dakota Johnson, the Queen. She, of course, broke out, became originally famous in the 50 Shades trilogy. Out of the 3, only one of those films' critical score is higher than Madam Web's.
Oh.
And I'll take either the actual title of the film or just 1, 2, or 3. Guess the number. Which of the 50 Shades movie had a higher critical score than Madam Web?
So you're saying the other 2 did not?
That's correct. They were both below Madam Web.
The first film, 50 Shades of Grey. The second
Some
film,
would say
50 Shades Darker.
under Madam Web. Maybe tied up and restrained beneath Madam Web.
Oh.
Madam Web will see you now.
In the red room.
Okay, let's reveal which of the 50 Shades movies
the
rated
first
better. Brandon went with the first one.
Berg and I picking the same one again.
Yes.
I learned today there was a trilogy of them.
With 50
You
Shades.
didn't read the books?
It was the first one. Brandon's correct there.
Should have gone with
50
the
Shades
first one.
Freed being the third one. Both the second and the third one, 11% critic score.
wow.
All right.
Just beneath the 12%
Wow,
of Madam
wow.
Web. Okay, and then finally,
Before we do that, hey, Jelly Bean Planet, thanks so much.
yes, thank you so
yeah.
much. Real quick, we want to shout out our friends at Jelly Bean Planet. Our favorite little munches in the office. We like to pop open one of these 42.5 ounce jugs. You can see mine's already half empty because every day I take a couple
There
scoops
is
of this
half
delicious
full.
guy. Brandon has a couple full ones.
I'm a
there,
sucker for these guys, the little
Yeah.
Papa Bean.
Papa Beans. Here.
Yeah, if you like, you like the little tiny snacks, or if you want a big snack.
Cinnamon.
These are tasty.
Those are
They've got
really
great
good.
flavors like cinnamon. I really like the coconut and the tangerine myself.
English blackberry, baby.
Ooh. Click the link in the description. Find them, or just search for them on Amazon. But of course, we always prefer if you click the link in the description to buy your own. Easter's not too far away. It's coming up at the end of the month. Buy some jelly beans for your Easter basket, or maybe a loved one's Easter basket. Do you get your mom an Easter present?
Everyone should get Easter presents.
You should. You should. Order your mom some delicious, non-GMO, no palm oil jelly beans from Jelly Bean Planet. Our friends over there. Made in Europe.
Oh. Across the pond.
Thank you to Jelly Bean Planet for sponsoring this week's programming. Okay, let's head into final couple questions here. Our bonus questions. What is higher, the Madam Web Rotten Tomatoes score or the percentage of people worldwide who are left-handed? This is the critic score, which again, a reminder is 15% for Madam Web.
15? 13?
Sorry, 12%. 12%, sorry. You think I would know that by now? 12% is it higher or lower the number of people worldwide who are left-handed? Let's see those reviews. Brandon saying higher. Higher?
Berg
I answered the question.
Berg just wrote left-handed. Sorry,
think
does
there's
that mean
more left-handed
there's more
people.
left-handed?
There's
So
more
both
left-handed
Brandon and
people.
Berg saying more left-handed people. Gina's saying
No,
less.
I was saying the critic score is lower than
He
the
said-
amount of people.
So you're all saying there's more left-handed
I think
people.
there's more
Yes,
left-handed
more
than
left-handed.
12%. Yes.
You don't be wrong. Only 10% of the
Whoa.
population is
Stuck
left-handed.
with your answer, Gina.
No.
I think this is on you guys for answering wrong and making it confusing.
I think most left-handed people are cowards and refuse to admit it.
Well,
Yeah.
fair. What's higher? Well, and also, a fun fact, the number of left-handed people has gone up over time because old people used to be forced to
Yeah.
learn how to write right-handed. And now people
Yeah.
are allowed to be left-handed.
Used to throw them into volcanoes.
Burned at the stake. Okay, similar demographic question. What's higher? 12% the Madam Web critic score, or the percentage of people in the U.S. who are older than 65,
According to the 2020 census.
according to the 2020 census.
U.S.
U.S. population.
12%.
12%. More or
Okay,
less people over 65.
Okay. And I am writing the one that I think is higher.
I'll write the one that I
Yes,
think
pick
is
the higher number. Sorry, I should have. It's my fault for not stating this.
No, I don't think it is.
Write down what the opposite is that you think is the lowest.
Just write down something, and then when you hear the answer, justify why what
Back
you wrote
into it.
is correct.
Back in.
Okay, let's see those answers. Here we go.
Oldies. Where my oldies at? Come
Oldies. Fewer people older than.
I think fewer.
Okay, so both Berg and Brandon saying more oldies than 12%. That is correct. 17% of the population is over 65.
Won't
Right.
you people die already?
Say what
gonna
you
take
will about
care of me?
healthcare in this country, but the life expectancy is going
Keeps
up.
going
on.
up.
Who's gonna take care of me?
It's still not great. It's like 72. It says 72 for men.
It's even dipped a little bit in the last
Yeah.
couple of years. That's
I went off this ride, dog.
Hey-o. And then final question of the entire game here.
For all the marbles.
Let's say triple points.
Triple
Good enough.
points.
Oh my god.
What the fuck are we doing?
If you
I
get it
think
right, you get
there's
3.
still
Okay.
no way for
3
me
points.
to win.
All right,
Legitimately.
3 points, yeah. I still think it doesn't really matter, but
I think me and Obi-Wan Kenobi are screwed regardless. So yeah, let's go triple.
what's higher? Again, write down the higher thing.
What
Madam
is
Web's
higher?
Rotten Tomatoes critic score or the percent of garbage that was recycled in the U.S. in 2018?
In 2018.
That was the last time I could get the stat.
Oh, interesting. We stopped counting.
Percent of garbage that was recycled.
Which is higher?
Which is higher?
There's a real
this
garbage off here, isn't it?
Well, this is the conspiracy theory that we actually do recycling, right? We don't actually.
Wait, just because you don't recycle doesn't
does that mean? I mean, this could mean a lot of things because a lot of people recycle without realizing that they are not allowed to recycle what they've been recycling.
Wish cycle.
still ends up in a dump. Let's see those reveals. Madam Webb.
Apologies
Wow.
to Madam
No faith in the recycling
None.
ability of the
None.
populace.
None.
Well, you're all wrong. According to Evan's Googling, 37% of garbage got
What a pleasant
recycled.
surprise.
Is.
Wow.
I can cut back on the recycling. We're doing great.
Yeah.
Doing great, folks.
Let's see. Once Surly John has updated the score sheet.
Certainly.
We'll have that ready tomorrow. Don't worry about that. Surly John. Oh my gosh.
So angry to have done his pretty binary task.
Yeah. That's the Alex Trebek in the room.
That's right. Okay, there we go.
Oh.
There's numbers.
Let's see.
All right. Wow. All of that bribery.
He docked you a point.
He docked me a point for bribery?
All that bribery got you nothing.
Man.
Well, congratulations to Brandon and to Ryan Painter, who suggested a similar format to this game in the chat. Maybe if you, I'm sorry, there's no prize, Ryan, other than our love and affection.
Bragging rights.
Pride.
And we'll get shouted out. Also, if he happens to be in the chat or if he sees this video on YouTube and he leaves a comment, we'll read out your comment on the next episode.
Oh yeah, Ryan's in the chat. He says, "Yes, Brandon, I'm proud of you." All caps, multiple exclamation points.
Yeah.
If only you were my father, that would really.
Can we,
that would really do something.
are Sarah Hatchadorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the chat? Can we get like a post game, like you should have done better from both of them?
I'm seeing yes, take the bribe, John from Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm seeing Sarah saying, I'm proud of Gina for the comeback.
She did mount a pretty good comeback.
Thank you.
It was good. And it was despite the final scores, it was a competitive game. Thank you so much for watching, as always, as we continue to try out new formats and explore different silly ways to have fun with the properties we love here on the Breakroom. Thank you for watching. Follow us on Twitch, on YouTube, all the social media platforms. Be sure to check out our other great content. I've been your host, Splat Sajak, and it always hits. I don't know.
It's very good. It's been right there for years, and none of us saw it until today.
It always hits.
And it's been a thrill. Thank you all. Have a good day.